All right, let's see. Spawn, pre-spawn, post-spawn. Severe storms, cold front, maybe some hail. So basically it's perfect. With severe weather tracking across a lot of the country, Bass Prediction Center's here with the weekend update to help you stay ahead of the bite. Welcome back to Bass Prediction Center, where we're tracking weather, seasonal patterns, and tournament trends to help you catch more and bigger fish. Let's go. All right, guys, let's start off with a review of our map here. As you can see, the ice line is barely hanging on, and that's going to be gone by the end of this next week. So get excited if you're up there in Minnesota, northern North Dakota. Winter patterns are disappearing quickly here. Probably going to be pre-spawn next week here, all in the north, because the spawn is quickly encroaching on where I live here in Nebraska. So going to be pre-spawn up here, spawn from here down, all the way through Texas. They spawn well into May, so really exciting time to be fishing. It should be pre-spawn, spawn, or post-spawn all across the country. Super exciting. Good time to catch a giant right now. You got the Bass Pro Tour event going on. We'll talk about that in just a bit. There at Chickamauga has been a really fun event so far. So let's jump right into it. Guys, as you know, we are shooting for 500 subscribers here on Bass Prediction Center, and we're inching ever closer. We have 423 right now. As you know, we are doing a giveaway, which for anybody that subscribed since we started doing the BPC back in February, we will do a drawing when we get to 500, and one lucky winner will win a Beyond Braid tackle box and a spool of their most popular line, which is their black. That's in a 10-pound test it's perfect for your spinning rod. So make sure you click subscribe, click the bell, and even leave a comment and like this video if you wouldn't mind, guys. We're trying to grow this thing fast as we can. All right, jumping into our tournament spotlight, the MLF is fishing at Chickamauga and Nickajack Lake there in Tennessee. And as you can see, Justin Lucas waylaid him the first 2 days and punched his ticket to Sunday. Should be a really fun weekend. The fish are biting like crazy there right now. They've got spawning fish, post and pre-spawn fish. Really fun tournament to watch. If you don't like live because it's too boring, this is not one of the tournaments. So go over to MLF.com and check it out. Really good time to watch fishing right now. All right, looking at our live radar map here on Friday night, and there are some storms firing all the way from the Tennessee Valley here, all the way into South Texas. A lot of these have been severe. There was a slight chance for tornadoes, but it looks like that's passed. There's not too many tornadoes firing tonight. Some flash flooding in areas because these are heavy rains and these storms are not moving very fast. You're seeing some rain up here in just east of Chicago here in southern Michigan, northern Indiana, and then a little bit of rain here up near Seattle where it always rains, so that's not a surprise. The rest of the country is dry right now. Let's move on to the forecast. All right, looking at our weekend forecast, looking at our rain chances first here. Saturday morning, you're going to continue to see rain here in the northwest, Oregon and Washington. And like I said, that's pretty common, especially this time of year. These storms that have been firing overnight here on Friday are going to continue to push east, and they are going to weaken as they go. So not too much of a severe threat. They may strengthen in the afternoon here a little bit. But the tornado threat is basically gone with these. It's just going to be some winds, maybe some small hail, but nothing too severe. You could probably still go out and fish Saturday. You're going to just watch out for lightning. So that's Saturday. And then moving into Sunday. Sunday morning here. As you can see, these storms kind of linger around here in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, Pennsylvania, and then off the coast here of the Carolinas. A chance for a little bit of not severe weather, but some thunderstorms here in the panhandle of Texas, eastern New Mexico, and then in the mountains we're seeing some rain, which is pretty common for this time of year. Most of the country should be able to fish. You're probably seeing high sun in a lot of the country, which can make fishing a little bit tough this time of year, but ultimately, get out there. It's May. Start killing some bass. All right, looking at our wind gust map here, kind of shows us where the heavy winds are. And this is Saturday morning, and as you can see, there's not a lot of areas in the country that are very windy, which is great for fishing. A little bit breezy here in western Kansas, southern Texas, and then a little bit breezy in the south. Gusts of up to 20 mile an hour, but nothing too terrible, nothing that's going to keep you off the water. Just enough chop to get those fish biting all day long on that shad spawn down there. As we move through, just with these storms pushing through, there are going to be some gusty winds around there. And then overnight Sunday, we do get some winds that pick up in the Great Plains for Sunday. So if you're planning on fishing on Sunday morning, going to be a little windy in western Dakotas, western Nebraska. Just kind of a line that extends from Canada all the way down to West Texas here. Nothing outrageous, like I said, up to 30 mile an hour gusts in some areas, but it's very limited and very isolated. Some gusty winds here in the mountains in California if you're trout fishing up there. And then over here on Lake Erie, you might want to stay off the water on Sunday. It looks pretty windy out there. And then Sunday night, as we move through, it kind of just rotates through, and winds are going to pick up for Monday, and we're going to be right back at it. All right, looking at your high temperatures for the weekend, looks like a very nice weekend out there. A little bit cooler if you're up here in Michigan. Mid-50s, not bad at all. Definitely can fish in that. Nebraska, you're close to 70 degrees. The Dakotas, same thing. Montana, you're warming up close to 80 on Saturday, which is fantastic. Same goes in the eastern part of Washington, the Yakima area. Really nice weather out there. California, you're over 80 degrees. And then the southeast all the way through Texas, definitely in the 80s and up close to 90, if not over 90 in some areas. Oklahoma, 70 degrees. Really nice weather for everybody to fish on Saturday. Saturday's the day to get out for sure if you're a fair weather fisherman. Get out there, do some fishing, find some windy pockets, throw a spinnerbait around, Kill some giant bass right now. All right, guys, I did want to show this. This is the low temperatures going into Saturday morning here, Saturday at sunup. And as you can see, there's a big swath of cold air sitting all the way down to Texas. And this is going to affect some fishing on Saturday morning. So when you first start out Saturday, know that there's a cold front that's pushed through. And those fish are going to be a little bit... Wow. Just know that there's a cold front that's pushed through, and those fish are going to be a little bit finicky in these areas on Saturday morning because it is getting cold overnight. So the bite is probably going to pick up on Saturday as you go through the day, but starting out, going to be a little tough. Going to need those wacky rigs for sure, some Ned rigs, things like that in those areas where you've been catching them. But cool air all the way down to Texas. And then we'll look at Sunday's highs. Basically more of the same, actually a little bit warmer through here. We have a pattern setting up next week that's going to see some interesting weather. We'll be talking about on Tuesday during the weekly update, but bringing some warm temps right here through the middle of the country, cool temps over here in the east, and a little bit cooler, up here in the mountains, which is pretty normal. South and the southeast stay warm as always. Fishing is just going to get better. Before long, you're going to be throwing crankbaits on ridges out there. So that's our temperatures. Okay, I just wanted to look at our rainfall totals through the weekend. As you can see, where these storms are kind of just sitting there, they're not moving. You're going to see some high rainfall totals up to 3, 4, 5 inches in some areas. Locally, those 5 inches are going to be kind of isolated, but if you're in those areas, you're going to see flash flooding. You might see some lakes fill up real quick. These areas are already deluged with rain. It's not a good situation. The Northeast, you're seeing some welcome rain up there, filling those lakes back up there. So really nice. Nebraska, guys, send us some rain. We need it bad. We haven't had hardly any rain this year. The mountains, you're seeing decent amount of rain, nothing to write home about, nothing that's going to worry you for fishing. So just watch out if you're in these areas with these flash floods, and keep your life jackets on and your kill switches engaged.
Welcome back to the tip of the week with me, Dr. Bass. As you can see, when the weather is very sunny, the bass do not like to be near the top of the water. They like to be down on the bottom. And lots of anglers like to throw crankbaits at this time. But let me show you a little secret that most people don't know. Let's start our experiment. As you can see from our experiment, crankbaits float in the water. This is no good because the bass are on the bottom. We must add weight. That's why we have this, a bottom bouncer. Clip it right on the front of your crankbait, and looky there. That's going to get down there and catch those giants on the bottom. This has been another tip with Dr. Bass.
Wow, that Dr. Bass is a real nut, isn't he? Anyway, now on to everybody's favorite part, the baits of the week, reviewing them from Tuesday. These all still apply and are really good right now. Our winter areas, you're going to be throwing a Rapala Shad Rap 7. This is a good color here, this orange and gold. Or like a Fire Tiger is really good. Gets those big females to react for sure. Throw this around rocky areas. Be careful around flooded timbers. They do like to snag up, but rocky gravel area is really good right now with this thing. Prespawn areas, you're looking at a pink zoom trick worm on a Charlie Brewer's spider head. This is a little bit of a specialty, a little bit of secret I've been holding on to, but this thing catches them when a lot of other things don't. You just get it up there in the shallows, especially in muddy water for some reason, works really good. And you're going to catch some of those females that are up there sunning, and they're going to eat this thing when they won't eat other things. So check it out. Get you some of these spider heads. They're super cheap on Tackle Warehouse.
and they're super awesome. Speaking of Tackle Warehouse, wanted to shout out that they are sponsoring the Lake Fork event for Bassmaster, which is really cool to see next week. That's going to be an awesome tournament. Spawn areas, looking at this is a little bed fishing rig when they're having trouble biting that bigger bait. This is that TRD Craws from Z-Man paired with the Z-Man ShroomZ head. Guys, this on the bed, they can't help but pick it up. It's tiny. The hook gets in the mouth every time. It's a great bed fishing bait. You just have to be careful if you're around cover at all because it can get snagged and you're usually on spinning gear with this thing. So you got to just be a little bit careful, but they're going to eat it. Post-spawn areas, my favorite frog on the market right now, the Jackal Gavacho. This thing is killer. It's super soft, super sharp hooks, really, really high hookup ratio with this thing, and it walks the dog phenomenally well. If you haven't walked the dog with a frog in grass pockets and you haven't seen that blow up, then what are you even doing? All right, guys, that is our Beyond Braid baits of the week. Make sure you go to beyondbraid.com, use code BPC10 at checkout to get you some Beyond Braid products, 10% off anything over there at the website. All right, guys, that is your weekend update for week 12. It's stormy. There's a cold front moving through. It's chaotic, but the bite is still happening, and the fish are always feeding somewhere. So drop a comment with what you're throwing this weekend. Like, follow, and subscribe to get entered in the Beyond Braid giveaway. I'll see you back here for the full Week 13 breakdown on Tuesday, all right? So tight lines and catch some giants this week, guys. New PBs.